Yo, 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 what's happening, people? What's going on? What's going on? How are we this evening? Yeah, man. Look what's going on. Nice little run up to the upside. Now, we expected this price action. There's no surprise. But they came and did some interesting behavior today. Good old Friday. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Yeah. Erin, this is what we're going to talk about right now. Big up, Rodney. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone is doing well Friday evening and whatnot. I have come a bit early tonight, but Bitcoin's been moving, so that's when I have to step in and have a conversation with you guys. Okay, then. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a conversation, guys. Let's roll with the flavor. Okay, then. So, in front of you, you can see Bitcoin. And it's showing some nice little move to the upside. Now, you've got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday we had these two drops to the downside. Well, not two drops, but we had the first drop, which took everyone by surprise, considering everyone was expecting Bitcoin to moon out from this point right here. Okay, and then, of course, we had today's price action coming in from the Asian session, stop hunt rise, and then they dropped it all the way down, and they recovered the previous pool of liquidity right here. If you want to see any sickness by the market maker, you will see how they come all the way down and they recovered straight onto the wick from this area here. So I'll mark it off so you can see clearly that zone right there, and then of course all the way down to this zone right here. So that was where the market maker had attacked the liquidity. Now, what happens whenever they come to previous pools of liquidity? They're always going to reverse from those points. Okay, now we have had a little bit of a successful week considering the projections that I gave out in regards to Bitcoin's price action. Now, you've probably seen this image before, but these were the three price points that I expected Bitcoin to land to: 43,000, 42,500, and 42,000. And then, of course, the following has happened. So they followed this cyclical move. Okay, so happy days to anyone that actually took advantage of those price points. All three projections hit. But what do you want to know now? Well, now the game begins again. The plays of the market maker don't stop, ladies and gentlemen. They do not stop. Okay? Only 24 hours ago, or 48 hours ago, everyone was pumped to the upside. Okay? Longs were being built. People were going long, going long, going long. There were some statistics saying that there was roughly around $400 million worth of longs in this area here. Happy days. Market maker knows that all of this liquidity right here needs to be taken. So that's where he initiates a stop hunt rise, and then he comes down and attacks the range with aggression and comes all the way back down towards this zone. Now you're probably wondering, so what can we expect Bitcoin to do next? Well, look what's happened. This is on the 15-minute time frame, ladies and gentlemen. Now you have to make the distinction, guys. What is the time frame that you are trying to trade from? That's what's important. Okay, that's what's really important, because if you're going to be making trades off the 1 hour time frame, the 1 hour time frame is where you will be looking for your cycles. If you're going to be trading off the 15-minute time frame, the 15-minute time frame is where you're going to be drawing off your cycles. So for the nature of this discussion, in front of us we can see what appears to be a head and shoulders formation. Okay, most of the conventional practices show that this is a head and shoulders formation. In the video earlier on today, we did say that we would expect a retrace back up at least towards this zone, okay? Because that's where the liquidity is sat. But do you see the behavior? Look, price aggressively moves up, retraces, and another nice little pump up. I was expecting this zone, okay? But let's look back. Are we seeing the same behavior? Whenever they drop price down, let's look over here. Drop price, come back up, drop it again. They've dropped it aggressively, come back up, drop it again. Come back up, drop it again. we are waiting for Bitcoin to get to a point in the chart where they would have exhausted all of the range. Okay? So when you look at the chart itself, you can see where we've got pools of liquidity. We've got these green vector candles right here. Now, we said it before. If they're not coming back to the vector candles sooner, they are going to come back to them at another point. But what they will do is they will contain price in such a way where they've got enough liquidity trapped yet again so that they can then make the release to the downside. Now, what does Bitcoin have to do to complete a move to the upside? Well, let's factor in all the scenarios, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin needs to move away from this zone. And when it hits this zone, okay, it is prone to recover from this point and try and move back down again. Okay? Now, just remember, keep an eye on this boxed off area here. All right? Just keep an eye on that for a minute. If Bitcoin can come back up from this point and then it hits this previous pool of liquidity, retraces, it's at this point where we will then see again the 200 and the 50 EMA trying to work their basis. Okay? Again, like we were waiting over here for the 200 EMA, you have to wait for it again, ladies and gentlemen, because a lot of people got caught out on this move to the upside. If you were going to be trading a pattern, you would have seen that the M formation up here, 3 hits to the high, was the trap. And this is what we're looking at again. They've come all the way down aggressively and they've snapped price back up again because everyone is running for shorts. Everyone's like, oh my God, Bitcoin's breaking down, Bitcoin's breaking down, Bitcoin to 30K, Bitcoin to 20K. So what does the market maker do? He contains it. He brings price all the way back down, building his longs at lower prices because everyone wants to sell, everyone wants to go short. And then he sharply reverses price back up again to take back the liquidity that he gave previously to build his longs on the backs of the people that are going short. They've just hit a lot of people's liquidation points because of the speed of the move. Now, what do we need to see Bitcoin do? There are 2 scenarios. It needs to break up from this point, come back and recover the previous red vector candle, come back down, and when it comes back down from this point, it would need to verify a pattern to the upside. So then you would be waiting for vector candles to appear. So the market maker wanting to come away from this zone. And then, ladies and gentlemen, based on your understanding of risk management and your capital, you would then need to make the decision and say to yourself, is this the zone that Bitcoin is going to break from? But it doesn't finish there, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, are you in this game to get in optimal, or should I say marginal trades? Or are you in this to get into high probability trades? This area right here, ladies and gentlemen, is the area where we will know if Bitcoin will continue higher. If it can't hold this zone, Bitcoin will be coming down. And it will come down and formulate the third hit to the downside. Range daily lows in sight right there. You've got the previous wick right here. You've got another wick right here. And then you have another wick right here. Remember, guys, I love it when Bitcoin is rising. But I'm not going to have any particular bias to Bitcoin if I'm not seeing the favorable moves to the upside. I'm not going to tell you a good story. I'm not going to hype you up in making you believe, yeah, Bitcoin's going to the upside, Bitcoin's going to the downside. I'm going to break it all down so that you can make the decision based on your understanding of your relationship with risk. That's what it's all about. Because we can say to ourselves, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll go long on Bitcoin at this point, okay? And if it goes up in my favor, happy days. And then if it starts coming back down again, I'll go short. So you can ride 2 positions if you want. It's up to you. But it's all down to the amount of money that you decide to trade with. Because if you're going to go all out leverage from this zone in hope that Bitcoin's going to continue higher and it doesn't continue higher, you then would obviously risk capital and you've been liquidated and you're going to come out of the game. And then before you know it, you'll come to the charts and you would have seen that Bitcoin has done exactly what it's needed to do. So the guys that are looking for longs to the upside, because there is a lot of liquidity up here, but are they ready to come and get it yet? Because they had every opportunity to do so here. But remember, it's a game of psychology. What each candle is the reflection of people committing liquidity in the charts. They can only form candlesticks if there's liquidity there. If people are buying, market makers selling. Yeah? And if the market is selling off, the market maker is buying. Are we all on the same page? Are we all on the same page? Good evening, everyone. Brendan, how you doing? I'm new to the course and I'm trying to find videos on what a vector candle is and all the different colors. Okay, listen, if you are brand new to this channel, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for passing through. Okay, pinned to the top of the chat, ladies and gentlemen, is, or isn't it? I don't think it is, actually. Let me sort it out right now. Something's going off with my chat right now. It's all starting to slow down. Here we go. Let me just get this up for you. The Traders Reality website, guys, okay, will give you all the information that you need. Okay, so just go and check out tradersreality.com. I'll pull it up now. And it's right here. So all you need to do, go to the website, start here. Okay, first things first. Make your way into the Discord, subscribe to the channel, and here are the indicators. Okay, so you click here and it takes you over to TradingView. Make sure that you favorite the indicator and then go back into TradingView in your indicators and you will see it sat right there. And there are some other links right here which will give you the other indicators that you can download. These are all free. This is free. This is free. The bookmap is free as well, but you do have premium services on there. Just check out bookmap.com and you'll be able to download their free version and make the decision if the premium version is for you guys. All right. So yeah, speaking of which, let's have a conversation about the bookmap. All right. So this is Bitcoin's bookmap right now. All right. And things seem to be calming down a little bit, unless there's something going off with this. Hold on. Here we go. Let me get this closed off right here. And subscribe from there. Okay, here we are. So this is Bitcoin's bookmap. All right. Over the last 3 days, ladies and gentlemen, there were particular orders in and around these projected zones. This is how I come up with my projections. Okay. 43,000, 42.5, and 42,000. These are the points in the chart where the order book was showcasing big orders that were coming into the order book. Now, behind every projection point, there's a vector candle in the zone. Okay, so we can justify that there's liquidity there. Okay, now let's look at the bookmap now. If we zoom out a little bit, you can see where the liquidity is coming in, but also you've got to consider that what time of the day we are at now, ladies and gentlemen. The market is due to close. That is the New York session. Okay, and we've got, of course, crypto does trade 24 hours a day, but things tend to quieten down a little bit. Okay, as you can see. Look at these orders all getting cancelled right here. All right. Orders are coming in, spoofing out the order book. All right. People seeing orders and hoping that they're going to get filled. And you can just tell that things are just pretty quiet across the board. All right. Now, when we look at the order book, we can see 42,000 has 232 Bitcoin. Okay. Stay with me on this one. 40,000 has 221. 41 has 149. 39,000 has 207, and 38,000, where the true liquidity is sat, has 305 Bitcoin. Okay, now they are spaced out. What we're looking for is, ideally, I want to see the collection of the orders in the order book to come closer to each other. Okay, because then that will tell me that, hypothetically, if they want 38,000 to be realized, then the orders that you see up here at 40 and 39, they would come down towards 38,000 and increase that figure down there at 305. That's my understanding of, based on what I've understood on watching the bookmap. I've spent many hours watching this, and I have noticed that they change the amount of orders in this area. Sometimes it looks like there's a bot there, because some of these order blocks right here do not go over a particular number. Usually you'll see it say 221 and it will drop and then go back to 221, and it never normally goes beyond that. It might go 222, but it will always end up going back to that same spot. That tells me that that's an order block that is looking to get filled at that price. Now, the key question is how long is that order block going to stay there for? Because if you look left, the same thing could have been happening here at 41,000. but they cancelled that order. Same again, at 40,000, the order was cancelled. This order was cancelled. That order was cancelled. So the idea is, if that order that was present right there got cancelled, if price comes back down to that zone, will an order come back into the market and get triggered from that zone? Because if it does, that will tell us that the limit buyers are stepping in. The buyers are trying to keep price up. Okay? So then when it comes down, they trigger those orders and then it moves back up and then the limit sales start coming in and then price ends up dropping down again. This is how you use the book map, ladies and gentlemen. It's establishing the auction between limit buys and limit sells, okay? Just look at the book map at the top right here. This here shows you the imbalance. Volume is pretty standard, so there's nothing much happening across the board, okay? Looking at price action itself, now you can work out where you think Bitcoin's going to go next solely on one time frame, or you can work on several other time frames itself. Let's look at the higher time frames just to put things into perspective. So look at the daily. The daily has made an attempt back up towards this zone, okay? But it doesn't mean that this now is the point where Bitcoin is going to continue higher, because they've spent twice at the 13 EMA on Bitcoin on the daily time frame where they had the opportunity to go higher and they didn't. This move is not satisfying for me, okay? We drop down to the 12-hour chart itself. Now, what have we got? Look at the moving averages. Yeah? The 800 EMA right here on the 12-hour chart seems to be a point of resistance. Okay? The 5 and the 13 EMA are all pointy and there's no clear direction to what they're doing in this area. Okay? This move right here is a sharp stop hunt. So for the past 12 hours, they've been marking up price and keeping it as high as they can to take back all the liquidation points for all the retail traders that have been going short. Okay? Which will take me on to the next thing that I want to talk about. Exo charts. So some of you might have exo charts. There's different ways of using exo charts. I kind of use exo charts in a different format, but I'm going to explain what I'm talking about right now with exo charts. So give me a second. Here we go. If you are new to the stream, ladies and gentlemen, mad love and respect for passing through. Be sure to subscribe, because Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday are the days where we actively do our live streams. And we're waiting for Bitcoin to surprise us with these beautiful moves to the upside and to the downside. So here we go. In front of you now is the exo chart setup that I have. Now, I look at this a little bit differently. Now, some of you may have been aware about when I talk about the delta and, of course, the net longs and the net shorts. Okay. Now, this data right here, you know, it's valid data. It just gives you an understanding of what's going on. Okay. Notice how loads of shorts have been opened, but at the same time, some of them now have been closed quite aggressively. Okay, so if we look back here, you can see when Bitcoin was rising up, this is the 2,600 chart. Okay, 2,600 tick. Yeah, it's the tick chart. That's really important because the vector candles are based on the tick volume of price action. Okay. What have we got? We've got some more slow-mo guys. There's Rodney coming to the room. Yeah? Happy days. Mike Dutch, Scorpio, all the moderators in the channel, you got your work cut out for you, man. Okay, then, so here we go. Look at this. Purple means longs, shorts are getting liquidated, and the blues mean the longs are getting liquidated. How can we translate this information? Forget the CVD. I know there are guys out there that use the cumulative volume data, but delta, but that's what we use the book map for, because I can trigger that right here. There's the CVD right there. That tells me what the CVD is right there. I can see them that they are accumulating, okay? But where I see accumulation is a little bit different. See, spending many hours watching exo charts when I was introduced to it, I noticed that behind every single positive delta move to the upside, okay, they always end up aggressively coming back down again, okay? So check this out. Look at this move to the upside right here. Now, let me tell you, I use exo charts purely for day trading, scalping purposes. It's not something that you really want to be looking into when you're trying to work out for swing trades. However, you can use it for that. I use it exclusively for day trading and scalping, because I just work off the tick charts. You know, you do have the access to go on the delta volume and daily, weekly and the hourly and what have you, but I use the tick charts for this sole purpose, okay? Check this out. Positive delta implies strength. It means buying pressure is rising and rising. But behind every attempt by the market maker to push price up with the positive delta, okay, I always tend to see that they always end up coming away aggressively from it once the market maker has solidified the intention to the retail trader that it's now time to go long, okay? So if you notice, 52%, 46%, 29%, 31%, market maker is slowing down, building his shorts at the highest point, and then all of a sudden things start to go a little bit quiet here. There's no delta, and then the first negative delta sign, okay, is effectively my trigger to say, okay, things are going to change. And then on the first negative delta hit, okay, that's where I'm looking to go short. And it always ends up coming down, which is where the liquidation points for the longs come in, okay? So that's how I use it. Now, looking at Bitcoin right now on the 2600 chart, let's see if the same story applies again. We've got 1, 2, 3 delta positives to the upside. I know that market makers build their shorts at higher prices, okay? Then towards the last aspect of this move to the upside, you can see 73% delta to the upside. Market maker is getting his shorts filled at the highest point because that's what we know. We know that the market maker always shows his hands above key notable areas, okay? Now, this is all happening above the 43,000 zone. Now, look what's happening. Delta is coming in negative, but not as much as you'd expect it. But look at all the longs right now that are getting liquidated, okay? Those longs are getting liquidated, as you can see with the blue spots. All the shorts are getting liquidated from the previous move to the downside right here. And you can see that right there, okay, with the white candles and the grey candles. They can also imply that they're closing trades in profit as well, so don't get it twisted. All right? So I hope that puts things into perspective for you. Now, looking at Bitcoin's price action on the daily itself, okay? If we're going to stick with this cyclical move to the downside, ladies and gentlemen, okay, we need to understand the following. See, I don't know what all of your perspectives are on price action. I don't know where you guys are looking to go, okay? There are guys who are scalpers, guys who are swing traders, guys who are holders, okay? But based on the way price action is forming right here, we've got this M formation right here. Drop, retrace, continuation to the downside is what we understand to be the cyclical move to the downside. However, the issue that we've got with this move here is this. If they come back up to this point right here, we may get the third attempt to hit to the highs, okay? This pattern will only be invalidated if they go above it. So as long as they stay below this zone right here, the move to the downside may still come into play, okay? But it's the weekend now, all right? They've already attempted the psychological high, and then they came straight back up above it. But look, you've got the 200 EMA and the 50 EMA. Until the 5 and the 13 cross over the 50 EMA and expand, there's no momentum to the upside. So this is just a blip in the chart. That's what you've got to remember, guys. And the same way that I'm breaking down price right now is the same way that I broke it down over here, which then led me to the story completing that we were expecting a sharp move to the downside if this candle right here doesn't close continuously in the strength and finishes higher. Confirmation candle presents that opportunity, and you could have gone short in many instances in this area here. Even if you missed out on the short, you could have caught the retrace to the 50 and then continuation to the downside. Okay? I hope that puts that into perspective. Are we all good with Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen? Are we all good with Bitcoin? Everyone, see, let me tell you something right now, guys. I don't care about price. 38, 31, 41, 61, 10, 12, 35 pence, 0. It doesn't matter to me. I'm looking for movement. Isn't that what you guys are looking for? Holders is a different story. Swing traders, different story. Okay? But based on your analysis, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to put price as the key factor that's going to make the decision as to whether or not you buy or sell Bitcoin, okay? Well, you've got to be cautious, guys, because when you start looking at price, you then start applying value to it. Some of you might think that Bitcoin can't go below 40,000. What if you're building longs? What if you're buying the dip buy principle? Okay? What if Bitcoin goes below 40,000? Are you going to be that person that sits and holds onto that trade? And then you've got this thing about diamond hands. Oh, look, I'm that guy that will sit through it all. I'll sit through it all. Well, let's see how long you last in the game of crypto. Or should I say trading? It's like it's fashionable now to be in the red. No, it's never fashionable to be in the red, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to make money. And we're here to understand the market maker's behavior. That's what we're here for. Because if it wasn't crypto, it would be stocks. If it's not stocks, it's going to be Forex. If it's not Forex, it's going to be commodities. Either way, you're in the game of speculation and you're here to try and earn some money. And you're here to try and understand how to do that. Okay? You can use this, the hybrid system for swing trading. You can use it for whatever you want. All right? But at the end of the day, you need to focus on the movement of price as opposed to what price is. Because then you eliminate bias. I don't care about Bitcoin going up or down. All I want to know is there volatility and momentum when it starts to move up or down? That's all I care about. That's all that is relevant to me. If there is pressure to move price down lower or if there's pressure to move price higher. Mark up, mark down phases. No bullish, no bearish. It's just markups and markdown phases. That's all it is, because we understand that they build their shorts at the highest point and then they release them at speed. They build their longs at the lowest point and then they release them at speed. Okay? There's a lot of liquidity for them to come back towards in these zones right here, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see. We've got the range daily low, the psychological low, and last week's low. These are key zones in the chart. You got wicks right here, you got wick right here, and you got the big wick right here as well. Don't tell me that they don't come back to the wick, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Don't tell me they don't come back to the wick, because I had all of that madness from everyone saying Tino ain't coming back to the wick, it ain't coming back to the wick. And they did exactly the same what they've done up here, and then they've recovered all of that wick when everyone was expecting it to never be recovered. Well, that's another conversation anyway. I'm not here to brag or anything. I don't care about that. My concern is that you guys get it, because you're going to be the people that get caught up in this hype of Bitcoin moving higher when they're marking it up and preparing to drop it. Yesterday, I witnessed a lot of people say to me, Tino, I closed my long just before. Happy days, happy days. That's what I want to hear. You know? I don't ever want to be putting myself in a position where I'm having to apologize to people. Do your own research. At the end of the day, you press the button, guys. It's down to you. I ain't telling you to press no button. But what I am telling you to do is to be cautious about the way the business works. Because if you understand how the business works, you're going to understand when to buy and when to sell. And that's where proficiency comes into play, ladies and gentlemen. I am probably the only person on earth that says, ladies and gentlemen, more times than anyone. Don't worry. I know what I'm saying. Okay, then, cool. Let's have a look at Ethereum. Oh, Ethereum's doing nicely with its little move to the downside. Here we go. So we've got the drop, retrace, drop, retrace. Okay, still doing the same thing as Bitcoin. If Ethereum can break, I mean, I want Bitcoin, okay, to stall in this zone. I want it to trade between the 44,000 and the 40,000 zone. That's what I want it to do, so that the altcoins can have their day and shift away. Okay. So with Ethereum itself, you can see that they've come down, they've moved back up sharply, okay? Which, if you go back in the streams, ladies and gentlemen, every Friday, there's always seems to be a little bit of a movement by the coins. And then over the weekend, they just drift price straight back down into those ranges. Watch the previous streams, guys, because it's giving you the befores and then the afters. You've got the luxury of seeing that because we're breaking price down all the time. You know? So this is what I'm expecting Ethereum to end up doing. What would need to happen for it not to be the case? It just needs to come up here. That's all it needs to do. It needs to break above that zone. Until it breaks that zone, I'm favouring lower prices. That's the basis of it all, ladies and gentlemen. If they're going to stick with this cyclical move to the downside, they will bring it back down. Until it breaks above this point right here, I've got no reason to believe it's going to go higher. And then each time we come to the charts, we're focusing and looking at what is it doing, what is it doing. Yeah? Market maker steps in and takes out the shorts from the downside. He hits those liquidation points. Now everyone's going to try and go long. Well, guess what? We'll see another vector candle to recover these previous vector zone right here, and then they'll drop it back down again. Okay? Remember, guys, this is the art of projection. That is what you're doing. You are projecting. There's no predictions, it's projections, because you're taking a number of confluences and then coming to an understanding that if you believe that your projection is going to go in a certain direction, be accountable for it, and pay to play. That's the nature of the game, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I don't have no positions open today on Friday. You notice I didn't trade earlier on today. No positions on Friday. I don't trade Mondays and I don't trade Fridays because in Forex, those were the 2 days that I would get burnt out the most. You know, I come to the start of the week because Monday's the false move. I come to the start of the week on Monday, getting all excited because the weekend Forex was closed. Start trading on Monday, lose a ton. Absolute ton of money. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, make it all back and happy days some more. Okay? Come Friday, bored out of my life, got nothing to do, don't want to trade. I see the market. I think, okay, I'm going to take a couple of scalps. Happy days. All the money that I earned during Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I gave it all back. And I'm back to the same position as I was on Monday. So I vow to not trade Mondays and not trade Fridays, which is why I stream Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, because I'm trying to improve the chances of you guys understanding the plays during the busiest times of the week. It's always Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. What do you think Thursday was, ladies and gentlemen? Midweek reversal. Yeah? We follow this cyclical move, don't we? This is all we look for every single day, this cyclical move. We're trying to find it on the higher time frames, the lower time frames. Yeah, that's where we're at with this move, guys. Altcoins. Let's have a look at some altcoins. You're probably going to start blowing up the chat. Throw me your coins, ladies and gentlemen. If I haven't got them in my altcoins boss list, I'll take a quick look at the chat and pull out some random altcoins that you guys would like me to have a look at. So, and then we can call it a day, ladies and gentlemen. So the top of the plays today is Carver. What did we say about Carver 2 days ago? Yeah? Do you remember this video on Carver in the channel? I uploaded a video 2 days ago telling you that if Carver's going to hold this point, it's going to show notable volume. And look at that. 1, 2, 3, bang, shift out of the zone. Happy days. Did anyone take that trade? It would be nice if anyone did do that. You know? Happy days for anyone that is holding Carver. Happy days to anyone that may have taken that projection. But what was the practice? The practice was simple. Okay? All I did in that video, okay, was I went to my altcoins boss list and I looked at the altcoins that were trading negatively. Okay? That's all I was caring about. I was looking at the altcoins that were negative because those same altcoins would have history of a move to the upside because we have had some altcoin dominance. Okay? So let's look at Zen for the time being. Zen is trading 4% down to the downside. What do we know? Oh, Zen is doing exactly what I would like Bitcoin to end up doing. Notice, you've got 1 and then another zone 2, another zone 3, and then the final zone 4. Okay, this is where this coin is going to be the turning point for it. If it releases and goes down lower, then we're likely to start recovering these previous pools of liquidity. So when we look left, you can see that we have got a zone over here. So I'm actually going to notice, forget that. I'll do it on the 4 hourly just to make life easier for people. You can see that the most notable area in this chart right now has come towards a previous vector zone. So you can barely see it. There's a green vector candle right there. Okay. So it's coming down towards turning point zones. All right. So keep an eye out on Zen because when they want to come away from the range, they will come out with aggression. No different to what Carver did. Okay. Let's have a look at your coins. Matic. Let's have a look at Matic. But do you get the idea about looking at coins that are trading negatively? Because if you're going to look at this coin right here, Carver, you're going to be like, oh my God, look at Carver. It's moving up. It's moving up. You go long and then it ends up pulling back. You end up getting caught out. Always look for the coins that are pulling back and establish if they are actually trading to the upside. And it may be just a little bit of a swift pullback just to build some more positions by the market maker. Luna. What's Luna doing? This is on the 4 hourly. Okay, Luna seems to be sticking to this zone. We actually spoke about Luna and said if it can hold around this zone and come back up, we've got the problem of them actually holding and forming an M formation in this zone. So Luna might actually look to correct, but I'm hoping that if it does decide to pull back, it comes down towards this zone right here, hits the previous pool of liquidity, and then starts to hold in this range, and then potentially come back up and take out the 8750 zone. Okay, this big W formation right here is the projection on the basis that if they do break down completely, what points are they going to come or likely to come back to in the chart? You see, guys, what you've got to understand, this game is all about working out where it's likely to go. It's all probabilities, guys. There's no facts. It's all probabilities. The fact in this game is when price is rising, it's not because buyers are in control. It's because sellers are in control, because you can only buy if someone sells. That's the fact of this game. Finished. No such thing as supply and demand in trading. When you're trading leverage, that is. Okay? No such thing as supply and demand. All right? And I've demonstrated that many a times in the streams. Matic. Here we go. So what's Matic doing for us? All right, so Matic, 50 EMA flat, 200 EMA flat, 800 EMA flat, wait. That's what we're doing. We've got the W formation right here on Matic. Now, we always expect to retrace from the W formation. That is what we wait for, and that is what we've got right now. We've got the retrace for the W formation. If this is the zone they decide to pull away from, then price will look to come up higher. What are you waiting for again? Vector candle zones appearing in this zone. Ahmed, what's good, my brother? How you doing, my friend? How you doing, man? Mad love, bro. I hope you're well. I hope you're well. To my guys who want ADA. Man, ADA's like... It's like one of those politically correct coins, man. Gotta be careful. Okay, ADA. Alright, the thing about ADA, guys, it does trade okay, but it just doesn't do anything. And when it does something, it sparks all this attention, and then it just goes flat again. So look at ADA. Unfortunately, flat 50 EMA, flat 200 EMA, flat at the psychological low, sorry, psychological high, 800 EMA, nearly flat. Super Mario play, potentially. Nice little pattern right there. Don't even use them. What we're looking for is potentially W formation, rise out the zone, retrace. We've done another W formation right here, and we're waiting for it to establish direction. Because what you've got to remember as well, look at the behavior of price. You've got yourselves spike to the upside, drop, spike to the upside, drop, and then another spike to the upside, and they've pulled it back. But the moving averages are flat. There's no momentum, no volatility. That's why I don't trade Fridays. EGLD. Oh, look at this beautiful pattern. Look at this. This is a good setup. W formation, drop to the zone, retrace out of the way, come back down. Look, this is still a valid pattern. It can go as deep as down, all the way down to this last wick for it to be a valid pattern still. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call locking the formation. Because the idea is they've come away from this zone with aggression. Now they're looking to add more longs to the downside to get their positions filled at lower prices, with the anticipation to come away from the zone with aggression and move higher to form the second level rise to the upside. Okay, that's where the rise to the upside ends up at. Okay, now in order for this level to be invalid and the peak formation to be violated, price would need to come all the way down towards the 170 mark, down here, and even lower, because then we would be looking for another peak formation. Okay, so if it goes beyond this range right here, even down to this pool of liquidity here, it would invalidate the cycle and the peak formation, and of course the level. Okay, if it moves up to the upside, okay, and then it forms a peak formation up here and pulls back, as long as it stays within the level 1 high, okay, then it's still a valid cyclical move to the upside. It can come down sometimes into the level 1, but the extreme point is if it comes back down to this zone, it would then invalidate the level 2 rise to the upside. Okay? So I hope that puts things into perspective for you guys. All right then, what else have we got? BNB, let's have a look at BNB. Oh, there you go. BNB's doing that. We drew this yesterday, actually, didn't we? Yeah. So BNB's staying sideways movement. Okay, this is good because the W formation from here, shift out of the zone, rise level 1. Okay, so this is your rise level 1, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're waiting for the level to be confirmed with a break to the upside. Now, the break to the upside may not happen this weekend. And if it does happen this weekend, it might actually happen on light volume. So just be careful with that. But if it does move to the upside, be mindful of the 800 EMA. Because when they retrace from the 800 EMA, okay, that is where we will know if they've got the strength to move away from that zone. Made $1,000 trading FTM past 2 days. Thanks for everything. Love the hybrid system. On that basis, my friend, let's have a look at FTM. Where is FTM? Again, I can't find it. Man, these things wind me up. I need to sort out my watch list, man. My playlist. What's going on with this guy? You can tell I don't normally stream on Fridays, guys. Here we go. Phantom. What's Phantom done? There you go. Okay, then. So, Phantom. We spoke about Phantom these past couple of days, and yet we're seeing the vector candles. Carver, because we spoke about Carver and Phantom. Look at this. All right? You've got Phantom on the left right here, and we're going to pull up Carver on the right. Okay? Just look at the behavior. This is on the 5-minute time frame. Bring up the hourly because that's what we based it off. All right then. Both Phantom and Carver, they've been moving in tandem with each other. Carver seems to have more of a movement to the upside. Phantom looks like it's waiting to establish that. You've got to remember, market makers provide liquidity across 35 exchanges and many altcoins. Remember, they're making money across the board. So in terms of working out, now you have an open mind with this, ladies and gentlemen, okay? If they're providing the liquidity across all these coins, when they're making money in one coin, they're going to be looking at moving it to another. It's like in Forex, sometimes you can tell what to trade if they're holding the majors and moving the minors, and vice versa, okay? Are they holding Bitcoin and trading the alts? Are they holding Phantom, okay, and moving Carver, so that when Carver decides to pull back, all right, a little bit, we would expect Phantom to be moving in that direction as well. Okay, we would expect it to move away from the zone. In other words, they've had this strong move to the upside. Okay, they've built their shorts. Now they've come back down again. Now they probably want to build more shorts because the topic right now is Phantom. Everyone's talking about it. It's moving. It's doing big things. Okay, so now it's looking to try and come back up. But remember what we said. If they come back up towards this zone right here, there may be a little bit of resistance, which they then could end up forming an M formation. So be careful because we're at a turning point again in this coin. What do you want? Marginal entries? Or do you want profit, high probability entries? Wait for the confirmation breakout to the upside. That's all I'm saying to you guys. Okay? All right then. Listen, let me finalize Bitcoin for you one more time, just to put things into perspective for you. And I'm going to leave you beautiful people to go about your day. So here we go. Bitcoin, what do we need to see? First things first. Okay, we've got this green vector candle. They've shifted out of the zone for the weekend. Now we need to be mindful on what they're likely to do next. 200 EMA flat, 50 EMA near enough flat, 5 and 13 EMA trying to cross over the 50. If we're going to see momentum to the upside, 5 and 13 EMA would need to expand and cross over the 50 and start widening out, and price would need to ride above the 5 and 13 EMA. If they can manage to move price higher and then the previous red vector zone is hit right here, be mindful because we could get the 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hits to the high, and then they may come back down to attack this previous pool of liquidity. That's on the basis that they continue higher. Okay, if they can't continue higher, we will be from this M formation right here, drop to the downside, retrace, continuation to the downside, which will take us towards range daily low, this previous wick, and then of course this bad boy wick down here as well. Okay, Bitcoin is still stuck in that boring 44,000, 41,000 zone. Okay, still in the same 3.5 grand range. Okay. So just have your wits about yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Frankly, use the weekend to chill out, relax, because it starts again on Monday. Mad love and respect to all of you beautiful people. Be sure to like and subscribe so you can catch up with us and get notified about the live streams coming into next week. I want to thank you all this week for your love, and for anyone new that has joined, welcome to the Pattern Watchers family. I'm your host, Tino. Take care of yourselves. Peace.